What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only Ash Brown, and this is the Show. Over 1,800 episodes. We're right on the heels of 1,900 episodes, and I'm super excited about that. But everything is on account of you guys and everything, all right? Everything that you've done, the shares, the cares, the love, everything makes a huge difference. 500,000 streams and growing. None of this is possible without you guys, so thank you so very, very much. Today, we are joined by author of The Organ Grinder Factor, Stephen Steele. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Ash.
How are you doing?
Happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. Stephen, where in the world are you today?
Where I am physically?
Yes, where are you?
I'm in Montana.
Ooh, Montana.
Looking out the window at a fresh snowfall. It's not as bad as some of the West Coast is getting. We're not getting 12 feet, but we've certainly seen enough of it this winter.
I bet you did.
Montana winters are pretty severe. They didn't used to be. Well, it's not as bad as they used to be, but we're still pretty far north. You know, we're pushing the Canadian border here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely it up there. All right, Stephen. So, where did the inspiration behind the Organ Grinder Factor come from?
Well, the Organ Grinder Factor is book 2 in the Trouble with Miracles series, and each book is a breathless adventure and action suspense thriller that's a real page turner. Now, each book has in it one fictional element that's fiction today and can very well be fact tomorrow. So each book has that one element. Each book has a completely different setting with a whole completely different set of supporting characters, and each book addresses really relevant subjects that are on people's minds, that are in the news. For example, the first book in the series, The Cannastar Factor, is about an inexpensive, organically grown cure for viral disease. Everything from cancer to coronavirus to the common cold that Big Pharma makes illegal.
Wow.
Now, that has a lot of relevance to what's going on right now, you know? So our two main protagonists, the man and woman in the story ultimately ranges all over North America, and they're chased and harassed and everything else with Big Pharma trying to keep this inexpensive cure for viral diseases off the market because, of course, it affects their bottom line.
Right.
Again, you can draw whatever real life parallels there you like. So in getting back to answer your question, they, at the end of the story, now they're literally on the run, and they barely escape the continental United States with their lives. They're on a sailboat, and they sail down the coast of Mexico into the Caribbean. They're looking for a place to establish a grow for this Cannastar that will not be busted by the authorities and everybody arrested. So they can't find anything in the Caribbean, and the chapter 1 opens. They are just off the coast of Africa. Okay, and so their plan, as vague as it is to just find some place on one of the vast African savannas that they can grow their Cannastar. All they need is water and cooperative government. So, right when they're blissfully enjoying this, there's a horrible, unexpected storm, a hurricane, just right off the west coast of as I say, of Africa. And what happened is there's a Western. This is all fact. Everything in the book is fact, and based on reality. Is the what they call the African jet stream. It comes off the Sahara Desert, blows straight across Africa, out across the Atlantic to the Caribbean, and that's where it picks up all the moisture and so forth. And that's how we get all the hurricanes. That's the hurricane track. Well, it dips down. There's an unexpected dip down in the African jet, and that's what creates this horrible storm. And in fact, our protagonist shipwreck off the coast of Africa. We're kind of north central of the west coast there. And they wash ashore in the country of Guinea-Bissau. Now, again, as the writer, I kind of washed ashore with them. And I said, well, where the hell are we? And it was just a logical spot heading straight across from the Caribbean. And it turns out that Guinea-Bissau is one of the poorest countries in Africa. It's war-torn. And shockingly, in real life, it is a drug transport station of drugs from Colombia to there and then distributed to Europe.
Wow.
And it's run by drug dealers. You got this incredible, unspeakable poverty, war-torn, groups of rebels and all this kind of stuff, and all these Colombian drug lords literally driving around in black SUVs on these rutted roads, and they got a horrible water problem, literally, but the narcotraficanos, as they call them, are living in these mansions with big swimming pools. Wow. So our protagonists, through a series of events, kind of get caught up in this, and they are in big trouble, and they have to flee this drug-torn nation. So they, with a bunch of exciting things happen, of course, and they barely get out of there with their lives, and they flee north to the country of Senegal, which is just north of Guinea-Bissau. And of course, we know about Senegal and Dakar, and which is on the west coast. Dakar is where Gory Island is. That's where the infamous door of no return, the slavery and all that stuff. So now, as a writer, I am in Senegal. I go, well, I kind of look around. Whoa, what have I got myself and my characters into now? Well, it turns out, in real life, that Senegal has just this horrific child slavery program going on, and it goes on to this very day. Child slavery is just appalling in that country. It's and of course my characters in the fictional story get involved in all this. All these children without parents are in these religious schools called Daras, and they're taught by they're called talibs. They're students of the Quran, and their teachers are called marabouts. But really, what they're all doing is they're pandering for the imams that have the big mosques. So all this money they collect go to the imams to support these huge mosques, these Muslim mosques. And 98% of Senegal, of course, is Muslim. I'm not judging or the Muslim thing, the religion. It's not so much about that, but as always, it's about the people who run the institution. Yeah. It's like, there's nothing wrong with Americans. It's we got the governments, we got the politics, and all that. That's not us. Right. So our characters get involved and they've got a water problem, and we get involved in the politics and the it used to be a French colony, Senegal, and there's a wonderful French lady down there who's trying to help the children. One thing or another, our main characters almost get hung and barely escape with their lives as some other just really charming characters involved. So we get the hell out of Africa, and with the people who are helping them, they flee to Israel. And in Israel, they are still looking for a place to grow their Cannastar, and they get involved with the inventor of the organ grinder. And the organ grinder is a 3D printer that replaces human organs without the need for surgery. Of course, it's never been tried on a human being, and it's not doing too well on the primates they try it on. Meanwhile, the investor in organ grinder, becomes our protagonist investor in a huge Cannastar grow that ends up in the Rio Valley in Israel, which is an interesting part of the story. But our protagonist in living and working in Israel now become subjected to the Israeli-Palestinian ongoing conflict there, and Cyd, the female protagonist, is horribly injured in a rocket attack. Her only chance of survival is the organ grinder, which has never been tested on human being. Meanwhile, our male protagonist, Alex, he is in Bethlehem at the Church of the Manger, and which is taken over by Palestinian rebels, who and the Israeli forces surround the church. So he's there for 3 weeks, not knowing if Cyd is alive or dead. While they're holding, but this siege, it's called the Siege of Bethlehem, happened about 25 years ago, and the whole sequence is based on an actual international event that happened, and that's quite accurate, quite frightening. It's the whole subject is dealt with. Again, there's two sides to it. There's the Israeli side and there's the Palestinian side, and they're both right and they're both wrong, and they ate each other's guts for the last 2,000 years. Chances are they'll be fighting in 2,000 years from now. So, you know what I mean. So anyway, that's a little bit windy for describing the story, but it's an exciting adventure, and it at the end of that book, Cyd and Alex, our two protagonists, go back to Montana, and they have had it. They've had their adventures, and they want to settle down. But then their a benefactor that they had with their Cannastar grow, which in America was set up in the first book on a Navajo reservation at the Four Corners down in New Mexico. His son is a geologist, and he's gone missing down in Chile, or Chile as it pronounced it. And he needs to now go down to try and find him, because there's this really strange thing. They've been having an increase in earthquakes down in Chile. Okay, we all know Chile has had the most horrendous earthquakes on it, and they have on a regular basis, the 7s, 8s, and 9s. Yeah. The tectonic plate is just moving under that country, but anyway, there's an increase in the volcanoes, and there's strange lights shooting out of the ground during these increase in these earthquakes. It's so bright and can be seen from outer space. What are these lights? We don't know what they are. So that's where we left the end of book 2. And Cyd now is going, man, no, we've had enough adventures. So they're both very intrigued, but say no at the end of the book, and of course at the end of the third book they're on their way down there. But when I came up with that, I went, all right, Stephen, you've written yourself into a hell of a corner now. What the hell are these lights, and what do they have to do with the story? And I knew ultimately that I wanted the story to end up on Easter Island and involve those kind of the mystery and magic of the Easter Island statues. But I had no idea how I was going to tie all that in. So that was my dilemma at the end of the Organ Grinder Factor.
Yes. Wow. So, Stephen, I know that the series is out. It's available, correct? People can go and scoop it up today.
It is. It's on Amazon and wherever books are sold. The print books are normal print book prices, $14, $15, $17, but the ebooks are on sale on Amazon and wherever books are sold for $2.99 each.
Okay.
So I'm trying to make it. I'm not trying to make money. I'm trying to. At this point, I want readers. I want people to read these stories and get how good they are and how much fun they are.
Yes.
And I think with the economy being in such bad shape and money being so dear and everything being so, I think people will have less and less money to spend on things they, who the heck's going to buy a $75,000 truck, right? I mean, that's crazy. I think reading, as popular as it is going to be becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
And I really want to be a part of that because, people are cutting, they're dropping streaming services. They just can't afford them.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a $2.99 book will keep you entertained for a few days.
Yes. Certainly. So, Stephen, let everyone know the best way to get some more information and to get the book. Or books, I should say.
is you can go to Amazon or wherever books are sold. Apple Books does sell a ton of books, and so does Barnes & Noble. Again, my name is Stephen with a PH, Steele with an E. My website is StephenSteelebooks.com. And but generally, I was just talking to my publisher this morning and said, "Oh, Steve, you're wrong. Apple Books sells as many as Amazon." Well, I don't know. I always send people to Amazon.
Yeah, it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for coming through today and talking about this amazing book series that we will be checking out soon and very soon. I love it.
Well, appreciate you, Ash. It was very kind of you to have me on.
Oh, thank you so much. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for all of your love, all of your support. It makes a huge difference. And always keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do.
You bet.
Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history.
Don't let life talk you out of your dreams.
That's right, Stephen. All right.
Right?
We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great one.